Sean, come on in. Yeah, all right, let's get it locked up nice and quiet for blocking, please.
As soon as we set up the movie, people were like, "Did you get Sean, Norm, and Billy back?" I'm like, "Get them back? They never fucking left. These guys have been walking around their apartments in New York and shit, you know, wearing peacoats and lighting candles and praying to the gods that we can get this thing done."
Steen, what's up, brother?
It's not like it was a negotiation. Troy called, said, "You want to do a second?" I'm like, "Dude, tell me when, man." You know, absolutely.
As many Boondock fans as there are out there, I'm just as big of a Boondock fan, and I'm like in it.
This is scene 81, guys. Where's Merv? Come on, over here. We're shooting right over here.
They were never out of the groove. They showed up like they had never missed a beat.
We are shooting 235, so...
I can't have one of them on one side of the frame?
Yeah, so it will be a tight two-shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I requested a long
But then you won't see him there at the back.
As soon as I started actually working the day, working with the actors, placing those cameras, it all just came back.
I'd like to get coverage on him if we can, from a little bit over here and the rest right here.
Troy's very definitive on his decisions, and so it was like nothing had changed and we were doing this yesterday.
The interesting thing was that here we go, 10 years later. He hasn't lost it. He's still got it.
At this point, when we say action, you're painting, you're pulling the fucking thing, go ahead, Romeo.
These daggers are getting antsy. I'm getting fucking peppy and spitting rude out there, man. The kid's about to go poncho fucking me on them.
I wrote the role for Cliff. In terms of writing the sequel, I knew I wanted him involved, and I knew that I saw that third saint character as a Hispanic guy who was like a puppy dog, wanted in the crew, you know, wanted to be patched into the Hells Angels or something, you know.
That was great, Matt, by the way. That was excellent. Good work. Everybody clear?
There's a lot of, you know, running and gunning type of shooting. So you kind of just have to be ready to just jump on whatever Troy throws your way.
Go again right away. Do not cut. Go. Cliff, I need more of your line right between them. And action.
Every time I talked to Cliff, he'd be like, "What you need, dog?" And I'd tell him, and we'd go back and forth, and then boom, I'd be looking at it 2 seconds later on film.
You're basically going to do things in between servicing them, okay? When he says mas, salsa, nachos, you're actually going to go grab 2 plates of nachos, shove it in front of these guys.
He's got a very specific behavioral vision. I mean, down to cadence, down to, you know, the tonation, those kind of things. Which is pretty rare. I mean, some of your other great directors have done it as well. I mean, Fellini is a good example. Yes, Troy, I compared you to Fellini.
This is a big action sequence here. We're running 3 cameras. The necessity to pick it up really in one shot is key here because we don't have a lot of time to reset and do it over and over. It's kind of our first big day as far as squibs go and guns and you know, an action sequence. So we're gonna have a good time today. It's gonna be real fun. About 5 minutes away, so stay tuned.
This is my double hit right here. Okay. All right? Yep. Everybody's taking one in the chest. Boom, boom. Double hit, 1, 2, that's fine. Right in the head, and then chest, chest, chest. However, these 2 guys are going to be turned slightly more this way because Romeo's killing them. Tap, tap.
Row marker, Alpha Charlie, off speed.
Out speed! Charlie speed! Ready, and action!
As we were shooting the scene, he was not scheduled to go over in the cart.
Good. Stay down for photos. Bob, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
And it was fucking hilarious. Now, at first, you can't help but laugh, but then oh my God, is he hurt? You know, because that wasn't supposed to happen. But he managed to sort of catch himself, you know, on the railing, and he did, but it made a huge bang, so everybody was kind of wondering. So it's one of those, you know, ha ha ha, oh my God, are you okay?
Aaron go brag.
What the fuck is that?
It's Irish for you're fucked.
¡Que viva México, bitches!
I knew that for the first time we were going to let a girl in the all-boys clubhouse, and she was going to have to earn her way. I didn't glad hand Julie. I wasn't, you know, trying to make the water nice for her. I wasn't really as polite as most. I knew that she had to earn her keep with Billy, Sean, and Norm.
Action. Line.
All right, boys. Look at the fat one and bring him over here. The thing that really inspired me from my first meeting with Troy was he has an amazing amount of passion. Just passion for what he's creating and what he's doing, and he has a very clear vision as far as what it is that he wants. This was not the work of the Saints.
Cut. Check it. Beautiful. Cut. Check it again. Day 12. Off to a bit of a shaky start, but we're doing all right. A lot of gunfire today. And the first guy that dies while the Saints read the prayer to the back of his head. So it's going to be tight.
I want to be moving in, ultra low angle, and when the thing stops, we're going to keep moving in low angle on the crate until we just lose it.
We shot in the warehouse for several days. The last day was the day we got our record, which I think was in the 60s somewhere, 65, 67 setups in one day.
We absolutely had too much work that needed to be accomplished within 36 shooting hours. And it was more like we needed 56 shooting hours.
Time out, fellas.
Yeah.
Norman's silencer broke off when he came up.
Oh, really? Oh, that's why. Oh, okay.
It broke off?
Charlie?
Yes, it was off right now.
Charlie?
All right. Well, we're going to need to go again then.
Yep.
No, I came up and I kept breaking off the
Silencer.
silencer. Yeah. Because I'd hit it on the butt like that.
He's got a problem with spatial awareness, proximity issues, you know.
Yeah.
Forget it. Forget it. Fantasy sequence. We're doing it. Not dicking with fucking tattoos tonight. Let's go.
You know, one thing that I like about Troy Duffy is he's no nonsense. I mean, Troy has a certain vernacular that can rub people the wrong way. For example, I mean, his direction's like, Flannery, look, what you're gonna do is you're gonna shoot them here, then you're gonna run off here, and you're gonna fucking come back here. Let's roll it. You know, and a lot of people would be like, you know, a lot of actors would be like, oh my God, man, don't talk to me like that. You know, but you know, tell me what you want, man. Let's shoot it.
Was B-cam on the brothers?
Yes.
Then we need to tighten around Romeo.
Okay, you want to do it
matter
as a
of fact,
pickup of Romeo, just...
swing it out. Yeah.
Okay.
And action! Cut! Check it!
I remember CB and myself and Pierre, our first AD, were sitting there organizing that shoot day in terms of moving the production from this place to this place within the same gigantic warehouse.
Did you guys see that shit?
Yeah. I saw
That thing's going down. It's gonna be sweet. Action! Cut!
The imagery on the first one I like so much, but the imagery on the second one is it's just twice as hard.
That was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was.
Did you get my check, motherfuckers?
Did you guys hear me say Flannery's cool as balls?
Yes.
Right in the middle of it?
We need another then.
I think actually Norm said that. Action! Flannery's cool as balls!
Then they go out and buy these.
It has been 10 years, and I didn't think it would ever happen, and just about everybody is back and so excited. There's such an energy on the set. I've never felt this before.
On the Saints case, not in the Saints case. On the Saints case. Okay? Do what you're doing. Have some fun with it.
We went off and sat down and worked and rehearsed by ourselves as well and worked through the script and came up with some ideas, took them back to Troy, went,
great, fantastic. No, that doesn't work right here, but it could work there.
Now take off your sunglasses with your left as usual, but take your free right hand and go like this with your, give yourself a little mid-section grip.
So he's very collaborative in that sense, but always maintaining he knows exactly what he wants.
Troy's very diplomatic about these things, and if you have stuff you bring up, he's very clear. You're definitely not left in the dark about what he's thinking. Yeah, what do you think about this? Nope. Stand over there.
Here!
Off to the side and
Here, I'm hearing reports from my actors that the background was significantly different on that tape.
This was. We didn't because you reset in the middle and it sort of screwed up our time.
Well, let's do it again then.
One more time from the top.
Going again.
I always have felt a special connection with those three. These are three guys who are not famous. And these are three guys that were starting out sort of when I was. We were all making our bones at the same time, And then when they were going to take sort of the wheel in the sequel and have a much bigger presence and be much more part of the story, to me that's just one of those things where it's like high-fiving your buddy at a barbecue. We did it, brother.
Oh, that's How did that little girl go to? 140 volunteers. Hey, very nice.
Troy, in my opinion, he made this less for himself, but for the fans.
Troy, you might remember
Cody?
10 years ago. That's Cody.
I'm George.
This is Cody.
You're Cody?
Yeah.
How are you?
This is Oscar.
Oscar, nice to see you. Yeah, I remember your dad almost beat the shit out of the Steadicam guy once because he said something to you and he grabbed you and pushed you away. And Kavanaugh was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That was a very memorable day for me. I remember, I think that the concern was we didn't have enough money for extras. I said, let's do some kind of shout out on a radio station. That turned into my assistant jamming a camera in my face, and Sean and Norm's, and everybody's helping out, calling the fans to battle.
You want to be in the movie? Show up to
Metropolitan United Church, 56 Queen Street, East Queen and Jarvis in Toronto.
I've never been involved in a thing like this where the extras are fans. They've shown up from all over the bloody world.
We're here with some Boondockians, and we're outside of a church, and we're meeting people and greeting people.
Hey, can I do a little address to the peeps?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Troy Duffy.
I just wanted to say thanks to all the Boondock fans that came out today. So, paid extras get to the fucking back. Boondock fans, I want you up front, all right?
Yeah! He sees them as an extension of the family.
Thank you.
So we should talk about
I knew from the beginning that Greenlee's character was the one that had to go because we loved him so much.
Stand on your mark. Do your move.
You had to lose somebody, just like we did in Boondock 1. There had to be a big loss, and this was definitely Marley.
Bravo mark. Tell your speed.
Speed on scene.
Speed on scene. And set. 3, 2, 1, action! Yep. Yep.
When he died on set that day, it was the same thing as what happened with Rocco dying in Boondock 1. There was people crying on the set.
Psychomatic, I said!
They just don't want to see it. They're watching it. And not only that, these people on the set love the actor. Bob was just a funny guy.
Well, this be a lesson to you. Never attempt open-ass dentistry. It needs more time.
I had a problem with my back molar. Brought it to Mr. Connolly, and he said he would resolve it. This is what happened.
Don't try this at home.
To me, it's not a three-way powerful scene. To me, it's a winning scene for him to reprimand us on how dare we take his macho away. That's what it does for me.
When we did Rocco's entire dream sequence, we were writing that on the day. I had Rocco and the brothers. We were all writing that together.
Literally, I mean, Troy and the two actors were at the rink, in like the locker room, doing this, and it's like, okay, we're about to shoot it.
On one hand, you guys are saying it's all about Rocco, but really the only dialogue you're giving is for Rocco.
He understands personalities, and he's such a nice guy, and he's such a giving director.
I mean, at the end of the day, he does have to deliver you a message, so he's the one that's going to be doing most of the talking.
Maybe there's a way to lean into that, but there's no stakes from him and an acceptance on our part.
What happened was Sean identified a problem. He said, the brothers aren't saying enough shit in here. This is supposed to be a celebration of all three of us.
If I can end it with understood, we're at peace, and a handshake. Because right now the way it's written to me, it does. It comes off across as, I called you here to tell you that you're being infants. I'm macho, I'm a man, and that's the way it reads to me.
It was all four of us getting together in a football huddle and saying, this is the fucking play we're gonna run on the fly, and it worked.
Let's do it, please.
All right. I made my own decision and stood up next to you guys. That was an honor. I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. Not one moment of it.
It turned out to be my favorite sequence in the film because not only was it a pressure situation, but it turned out way more perfectly than I could have written it on my own.
Men do not cry. There you go. Men do not pout. Men jack you in the fucking mouth and say...
Working on a helmet adjustment here, taking the visor off so you can see my sour puss.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
That's it.
Greenlee's involvement in that scene was one of those things that was brought on by necessity, that I finally figured out while we were shooting. That was something that needed to be addressed.
Action! Men do not cry. Men do not pout. Men jack you in the fucking mouth and say...
Thanks for coming out.
That fucking felt good.
That was his last line, and it also seemed fitting for the end of his character. Thanks for coming out. That's exactly what he did. And he's also, it's like a double entendre there, too, because he's looking at the audience when he's saying it. It's almost like he's saying, Boondock fans, thanks for coming. There's so many different ways you can interpret that line.
Thanks for coming out.
You're really doing a rhythm thing with that. And hard men doing hard shit. And that gives me a hard on. Okay. All right? This is military shit, what you're doing here. Military shit. Okay? Brothers on their marks, let's do this!
It ended up, in my opinion, becoming sort of a manifesto, emphasis on man.
1, 2, 3, action!
Hell no, hard men. Doing hard shit. Giving me a hard on. And that gives me... What is it?
And that gives me a hard on, for Christ's sakes!
All right, and that... All right.
All right, let's go, Murph. Action!
If you could think of every roughneck working on an oil rig, factory worker working in, if you can think of just blue-collar men in the United States that are never the heroes. They bring home the bacon for their family every day. They work their asses off. They drink a cold beer at the end of the day. This is what they've wanted to say forever, but nobody's ever represented them in film like that.
And action!
And that gives me a hard on. But not the game. Yeah,
Cut, check it.
Get that rig off. Clear this area, please.
Beautiful, Rock, beautiful.
Dude, what about Burt Reynolds?
You want a CB? What town is on?
Well, Elliot Gould?
Yes. See if you can find out the name of the actor who played the king on in Braveheart, Edward the Longshanks.
The whole story was going to wrap up in a discussion of two guys sitting down in chairs across from each other, just like you and I are right now. By the time we get to the Roman, we are fueled with righteous anger at this guy. He is an evil bastard. But then when he sits down and talks to Billy, I wanted that one moment in time where he's so logical and it's so disturbing that he almost wins the audience over. That was a difficult thing, and I knew I needed an extremely skilled actor to pull that off.
You guys think of him yet?
Who?
Elliot Gould?
Yeah, we're already checking his availability.
But CB is one of those guys that just never gave up. I remember the day he said, we're hiring somebody for this role today. That was the day we went and shot downtown in Toronto. He showed up on my doorstep at like 6 in the morning.
You're going to do this, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to find
We're
a
going to go on this Roman thing. You got exactly, 3 days to get his ass here. We don't even have anybody yet.
That's right.
But CB's all fired up, and you watch what fucking happens now. What are you doing? You just calling their agents and going, I need an answer. There can't be any paper flowing on this until somebody says yes, right?
Correct.
So it's like I need an answer now. If you can't call me back in the next hour or two, then it's off the table.
Hour or two would be a long time.
Wow, even that bad.
I literally had to cast the Roman by 5 p.m. because I had to have him on a plane by Saturday in Toronto, wardrobed and shooting Monday. We're at the tail end of the schedule.
I just knew by the end of the night we were going to get somebody, and he comes up to me and goes, "We got Peter Fonda," which was my original choice anyway. So I was like, awesome.
You built this?
Yeah. I'll show you something.
Where are they coming through the glass?
Coming theoretically off the
Oh,
top
I got
of
you.
action,
Okay.
which we're filming out there, through the glass, and I'll show you what they're landing on.
The greenhouse was a pain in the fucking ass. There was this sort of chapel-like greenhouse. And I knew we needed a much bigger one, you know? Because everybody, we get into it, my producers are like, well, you got a greenhouse attached to a mansion, that's what you were looking for, or attached to a home, that's what you were looking for. I'm like, this is like a fucking shoebox, we can't shoot it in here.
Troy wanted this greenhouse, but our budget only allowed for a shed. You know?
Pretty soon, it was just this battle between me and production to get a huge fucking greenhouse out there. Attached to the small chapel-like greenhouse, that was now going to, our creative solution was Il Duce and the Roman would be talking in the chapel-type greenhouse, and the big greenhouse would sustain our gun battle.
And 3, 2, 1, action!
This has to be our, you know, opus of this film. This has to be bigger than anything.
It was a situation where we had to pay for it. The producers and Troy had to pay for it. We all looked at it and said, it is the climax of the movie.
So this is basically what we spent our fees on.
Roll it.
And action!
Once again, this is looking great, guys, when the guns are opposing camera, and sometimes closer together. That move you did off the top where you start like this, then bring them back, when you are moving against the camera across the frame and shooting like that, that's fucking gold. Give me more of that.
Guns up!
And roll camera. Rolling.
Action!
Cutting. All right, we're going to do a quick pickup of you reacting to the bullet hits and dropping the weapons. That's all. It's probably just going to be one of these types of deals.
I can't imagine shooting a movie in the future without Billy, you know? At this point, he's become sort of a surrogate father for me.
Different, little bit of a different thing going on here. Billy is going to be cueing himself. As soon as he expends the 4 rounds in each clip, he's going to react on his own to the bullet, drop the gun, fold into his second position. Drop the guns, fold into his second position.
Troy is rock and roll. You know, there's no safari jacket and loudhailer and riding boots here, and when you're ready, you know, it's boom, 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 boom. And he said a thing the other day I've never seen a director say. You know how they used to go, and print, and cut, and print. You know, Troy the other day said, print the fuck out of that.
Set! 1, 2, 3, action!
That was terrific.
Thank you. Check it.
Boondock fans, we never forgot you, and this is my repayment to you for doing all that you've done. Boondock fans not only made the first film successful, in doing that, they helped make the second film. You've put food in my mouth and clothes on my back for the last 10 years, and Boondock 2 is my repayment to you for doing that. This is your movie.
I knew who Billy Connolly was, and they gave me a headshot. Like, if you take your camera and frame this up right here,
Yeah.
all right, you got him in there. That's God. Right? He looks exactly like God. And I realized the character had to have this thing, right? So I met with him, and I was really trying to sell him on it. I brought this, remember the
I had like a Trapper Keeper fucking notebook with artist drawings in it and all the little bits of the script.
That's right.
Like, oh, it's great. You've done all this preparation. I'm giving him this big pitch, and he's like, "Well, yeah, we're doing this, right?" And I was like, he had kind of assumed, you know, yeah, we're doing it, and I had assumed like I had to convince him. And after a while, he's like, "You don't need to fucking sell me. I'm done. I'm in." Yeah, because he wanted to be a bad guy for.
Because he wanted me in it. I wanted to be in it. And my agent didn't want me to be in it. He said, it's a penny halfpenny thing, man. They've got no money. The man's crazy, and I'm saying, but it sounds okay to me.
To me, that's like that's the reason I do shit sometimes. Because my agent doesn't want. Oh, it's ridiculous. You can't possibly do that.
Yeah.
Really?
Whoa. It sounds interesting.
Maybe I ought to read that again.
Plus, we're in a bar with his brothers and all his other hairy friends, and I thought, this is okay. I like this. These are the kind of guys I understand. And he took me outside and said, "Look, this is." I said, "I want to do it." I had to talk him into it. He's still talking me in, and I was on. You know, people won't take yes for an answer.
And then a Scottish guy comes up to him, and it got so Scottish. It's that kind of Scottish where you can't get in. It feels like a foreign language. Yeah. I didn't know what the fuck you guys were talking about. I didn't know what. And this guy comes up, and him and Billy are hugging, and his wife's there, and Billy's hugging the wife, and everybody's going. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. What are the chances of that? You meeting somebody you know in Los Angeles right when you come out of the bar, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know him." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, "Oh, Scottish people just think they know one another. When they meet each other, it's a it. You have to like do it." Like, I've had people come and yank me off the dinner table with my wife.
That's true, yeah. I'll be watching Troy directing, and he used to. On the first one, he didn't really know a lot of the terms for the things he was pointing at, but he got it just the same. And now he still doesn't seem to know the terms for what he's getting at, but he's doing it with so much more confidence.
I remember the other day they were like, we were trying to move over the table. We were doing that table shot to try to get to you over the table.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, I had learned that one, right? It's called a ubangi. It does that, which I fucking love that word, right?
Ubangi, that's African, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, right? But a ubangi is this arm that brings the camera right over the table, and you can move around the table to a guy. So we had done that earlier on. I learned that term, and I was like, when you were sitting there, I was like, okay, get the ubangi out and do it. And everybody's like, oh. We liked you better when you didn't know shit.
Well, I keep saying rock and roll when I talk about Troy. It's not like film. It's not like drama. Although the stuff stands up, you know. It's the dialogue is good, the drama is good, the filmmaking is of a very high quality. But there's an essence of rock and roll. Sometimes in film there's an essence of college. You know, you get the feeling everybody's been to college and they've passed a lot of exams. You know, and it's all tra-la-la. But this, it's rock and roll, it's bang, bang, and the audience understand it. That's why they took to it. So a certain type of person took to it. I don't know if you remember hearing rock and roll for the first time, and the first thing that dawns on you is, this is for me, this isn't for my parents. This is mine. Well, this is the film version of that. Mm-hmm. For me, it's the film, and I recognise it when I see it. There's a funk involved in it that appeals to me.
We just added something that had no words in it to the end of the scene, and I think it's going to be a hilarious moment. There just happened to be a bottle of whiskey in the Irish farmhouse we were shooting in it. I said, what the hell, put it next to Dad. And there's Billy, and I'm realizing that most of his shots are with this bottle of whiskey, and there's a moment where his own brother turns to him and is like, what are we going to do? And me and Billy worked out this thing where he just looks at his brother, grabs the whiskey, and starts pouring, right? Which was not in the script.
No, it wasn't.
And there were no words, you know, added there. It was just a nice little thing. And by the time it plays out in the script, it's going to be almost like a perfect little picture of Irish culture. You know, they pay just enough attention to their own Catholic guilt and all that stuff and the religion, but when they're really faced with problems, the first thing they do is Pam. Drink, and then we'll talk about this and settle it. And they always start out with, well, we're going to have a drink so that we can settle this. And this is what needs to be done, you know? And they just end up getting pissed and beating the crap out of each other.
Because you have to understand, in most societies, there's life, dance halls, theatres, all sorts of stuff. And on the periphery of that, you have alcohol. Well, in Scottish and Irish life, there is alcohol. On the periphery of that, you have life. And there's a lot of one takes. You know, which is such a delight, because there's nothing worse than doing 19 takes and then finding that they printed the first one. you know what I mean?
Yeah, because then you get like, what are you, fucking with me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking with me?
Yeah, because
It's like
because as you do more and more takes, inevitably the strength or the essence gets diluted as you go along. Sometimes, very rarely, it'll get better. Maybe between you come up with something that wasn't there before. But normally, one of you will be deeply disappointed as it goes along. But there's an essence in the first one. There's a life in the first one that comedians really understand and rock people understand. When you get it the first time, to be working with someone who recognises that, goes, print, let's move along. You go, Jesus, this is good.
I think with you and I, sometimes we'll after the first take or two, a new idea will come up. You know?
Oh, that's a different thing.
And
when
then,
a new idea comes in.
It's weird to watch those dailies too, because you got the first time, and the second time, third time, suddenly you got a cigar in. Yeah. And I remember the moth shot.
Oh, yes.
He didn't even see it. He's sitting there doing and he's having his best take. And at this moment, a moth comes in and starts flying around his beard, and then exits frame. And you're gonna love the line the moth came in on. It's when it's during that time where you're like, there's about 1,000 easier ways to kill somebody. Trust me.
Yes.
Right? And Billy's
I've got the
character's
butterfly on my hand.
got a butterfly on his hand, right? So after we were still rolling and we were still talking in camera, keep him motivated. And I had seen the moth on my little screen. And I was like, awesome. I remember one of the camera guys says, we're gonna have to redo that. There was a moth that flew up, and I was like, I love the fucking moth. The moth stays. He's in the movie. Because then people will be like, did they release that moth? What's the significance of the moth? People talk about that weird shit,
because there are moth wranglers. I've met a moth wrangler.
On this one, because we have the butterfly, we were extending with this analogy is coming from, we were really messing with the whole butterfly thing. When you die, there's going to be, and you're looking up and the last thing you see is butterflies coming through there, right? We're doing that, and they have butterflies with little tiny fucking strings on them.
No.
I am not shitting you. And if you want them in camera and it's to be fluttering around in frame, there's a guy fucking standing right off camera with a thing, and the butterflies are flying around and they just can't get out because they're tied to these little tiny invisible fucking strings. And we're using them. We got 5 of those.
It's nuts.
And one guy who's our little puppeteer with the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Live butterfly.
It's just, we did a thing with seagulls once, and you put a fishing line through their nostrils, and it ties their beak closed. So when you're filming, so as it can't give you a bit of a snatch. A seagull shit in my pear once. I had half a pear going on holiday down the River Clyde, splash! A big seagull shit right on top of it. Oh, what? That's when I knew there was no God. The day I became an atheist. A seagull shit in my pear. I'll see you in a minute, Louis.
The emotion that the audience is hopefully feeling at that time is, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm sad that Dad died. I'm angered that the brothers got captured and surrendered. After that scene, if you were to give them a list of the top 10 things you're not going to see now, the number 1 thing would be Willem Dafoe coming back. And that's what they fucking see.
I hear they party pretty hard at that monastery.
We called Willem. He said, let me see the film, because we had a version of it edited together. Let me see the story. And we eventually got together on it, went up to Toronto to do some reshoots on other stuff, and masked his presence within that reshoot to shoot our Dafoe scene.
You're a very clever little girl, Eunice. That's why I chose you. Now it's time for you to put your thinking cap on.
It was the perfect placement for it, and the scene worked out wonderfully.
I want to get him out, get him back to work, take this thing to a whole new level.
In Hollywood, thinking we didn't get everybody back. I mean, Defoe didn't come back. You know, there's a bunch of catty fucking backroom talks going on in this town. It always has been. And, you know, to have an actor who validated the first film in a lot of ways with his mere presence, not return, was something they talk about in those little back fucking rooms. Well, we got the entire cast back, including Defoe, so fuck you.